Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hope you have got the access of screen share, Dr. Halima.
Yes, I
Okay.
see a thing here, but do you want me to try sharing it now or wait?
No, not now. After we start the proper session, I'll let you know when to share.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, sir.
Now I think it's time for us to start up the session. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful. First of all, Benfa extends its hearty and cheerful welcome to all the members who are present here to discuss a very, very important topic of the current scenario. And all of us know, though, more than 2 years now, the corona is chasing the world. The corona is chasing the humankind, and because of its different variants. And recently, this one variant which is called as Omicron, and WHO has put this under the category of variant of concern. Hope you know that there are two types of variants. One is variant of interest, another is variant of concern. Variant of concern is very more, has to be, why it is concerned means it has to be taken seriously because it can be very dangerous. To talk on this topic, we have today Dr. Halima Yazdani. In fact, Dr. Halima Yazdani, we need one more small session to give that proper introduction about Dr. Halima Yazdani because of her so many achievements in the field of telemedicine. She has received many awards in the field of telemedicine, and we are very proud to have Dr. Halima Yazdani with us. Moving forward, now what is Benfa? This is mainly to the new members who are present today. Old members will definitely knowing what is Benfa. See, Benfa is a short form of three letters, that is Bengaluru Friends Alliance. Bengaluru Friends Alliance was formed on 10th October 2020, registered under Indian Trust Act at Bengaluru on 19th January 2021 as Benfa Charitable Trust. What is the motto of Benfa? See, main motto Benfa to start the Bengaluru Friends Alliance is that we believe that a little support can change lives. To change somebody's life, we did not provide something very big or very huge. Understand? Only little supports, guidance, moral. Like now we have webinar on Omicron. Whatever information Dr. Halima will give us, it's a little support, but this can change somebody's life to take a lot of precautions. So this is the motto of Benfa. And Benfa Charitable Trust is a non-profit public charitable trust focusing mainly on education, healthcare, and socio-economic empowerment of underprivileged, unfortunate segment of the society. What is the emblem? What is the emblem of Benfa is its map of Bengaluru representing, and there is one tree representing the society, and there are 5 rays, and these are the rays of core values of Benfa, like humanity, honesty, integrity, transparency, and modesty. And we hope that these rays will act as rays of good hope to the society. This is the logo of Benfa, 2 hands holding together to support and help each other. We have our admin office, head office at HBR layout on the 80 feet road, first stage and second block of HBR layout. And we have our welfare center on Shampur main road in Shampur. Then what are the goals? Main objectives of Benfa are community empowerment objectives under education, healthcare, socio-economic, and women empowerment. So far completed projects of Benfa are, so far we have, Alhamdulillah, the Benfa was successful to provide scholarship to 47 students till today. And 2 students were felicitated for their outstanding performance at university level under Benfa Education Empowerment Program, that is BEEP. And we have another is Benfa Healthcare Program. So far we have provided 18 patients hospital bills under Benfa Healthcare Program. And we run Benfa Microcredit Scheme, where we give interest-free and service charges-free, loans to the needy people, mainly to the ladies. And so far, 90 beneficiaries have been honored with this scheme under BENFA microcredit scheme. And BENFA socio-economic support program, we have helped 8 people so far, and mainly among them are the COVID victim widows. And we conduct webinars on various important topics. So far, we have conducted 11th webinar. This is our 12th webinar right now. What are the other activities, completed other activities? During Ramadan of 2021, BENFA had done ration kits distribution, Zakat program and Fitra program. And we did oxygen cylinder supply during wave 2 in collaboration with Diniyat Oxygen Cylinder. Alhamdulillah, we have our own oxygen cylinders right now. They are ready to deliver. If somebody needs oxygen cylinder, please contact BENFA. And BENFA Qurbani program 2021 was also carried out, and meat was distributed to poor people. And we have one more program that is called BENFA COVID Victim Widow Support Program. If you come across any widow who is in need of any help or support, and who has lost her husband during the wave 2 or wave 1, due to the consequences of COVID, please do refer that lady to us, that sister to us. Inshallah, we shall try to help her as much as possible. These are the few pictures of BENFA, little moments but big memories. And these are the 2 candidates what I was talking about. One is Saida Shaista, another is Rahmatun Nisa. We felicitated them for their high level, gold medals they scored at the university level. And remaining are the few pictures of the projects. And this is the day of registration of BENFA at Yelahanka Sub-Registrar Office. These are our trustees. And this is the launch program of BENFA Microcredit Scheme. And the guest of honor was Mr. Rizwan Arshad, who is the MLA of Shivaji Nagar. And this is BENFA team distributing at Ramadan ration kits at Bagalur. We distributed at various places, other various places as well. As I told, BENFA other activities are Holy Month Ramadan activities, BENFA Zakat program, BENFA Fitra program, BENFA Qurbani program for Eid al-Adha. And this is the contact. Any member, anybody can reach BENFA 24/7 at this email, contact@benfa.org, or website. Please, you can go on website www.benfa.org, or our mobile or WhatsApp 9611834443. BENFA Serving Society. Thank you very much for listening to us. Now I request Dr. Halima Yazdani to take up the dais and carry forward. Thank you very much, Dr. Halima Yazdani, once again.
Thank you, Dr. Suhail, and thank you, BENFA, for this wonderful service that you're providing, and that I would say that we are providing, being a part of BENFA. And really, it's an honor to be a part of this group, who's really helped people a lot during this time. And one second. Yeah. So, can everyone see my screen? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can see the screen, Dr. Halima.
Okay. So, right. So basically, we are going to talk today about the new kid on the block, that is Omicron. And unfortunately, COVID, as Dr. Suhail said, took over most of our, energy, most of our, almost everything in the last 2 years. People have strived, people have struggled and survived. And we have yet another thing to face, which may not be as bad as the previous ones that we had to encounter. This is the Omicron virus, or the mutant of COVID-19. So just to make things simpler, I have divided this entire thing into introduction about the Omicron virus. What are the signs and symptoms commonly encountered by people so far? How good is vaccination for this particular variant? What is the prevention and how it can be managed? The prognosis, as many people would want to know, and the myths around this Omicron virus. So, okay. Let us start with the introduction. I would request everyone to please mute yourself.
Please mute yourself. There are a lot of disturbances. Please.
So, as Dr. Suhail gave a small introduction, yes, WHO has labeled Omicron as a variant of concern, which definitely is very concerning. And it is one of the mutant which is recently changed over by COVID-19, a new phase of COVID-19. It is also called as escape variant. The reason why it's called as an escape variant is that it escapes the immune system. So if you're talking about escaping the immune system, again, there's a question is, does the vaccine help at this stage? Well, it doesn't. In fact, what happens during this particular variant is it escapes the immune system, as in there is no memory in the particular variant to recognize the co-sisters or co-brothers in the body. So it will escape it and start producing, multiplying, and start causing the symptoms which is supposed to cause, right? So it has shown a very large number of mutation. The surface, the spike of, I'm sure everyone remembers the cross section of the coronavirus. It looks like a crown. It has a wheel, and it looks like a like a cartwheel with spikes. So these spikes are the proteins which is available on the surface of the virus, and this Omicron basically has a mutation at the spikes. At the surface where the spikes are there, it has more than 30 mutations on the viral S protein. So if we are talking about mutations, even 1 or 2 mutations can make vaccination difficult. Even 1 or 2 mutations can make treatment difficult. So in this, we're talking about 30 different mutations on the same viral S protein on the surface of this Omicron virus. That is why it is a key target of immune response, and it escapes the immune response. So again, what is the origin of this particular virus? It is originated from the South Africa. The first virus, the COVID-19, the entire, I would say the forefather of this all mutants, originated from, of course, our China, and the second one now is from South Africa. So this is what I was talking about. The spikes, the center spear, on cross section, it looks more like a crown with the particular spikes on the top. These spikes are made of proteins called glycoproteins. So these proteins are the one which basically cause the mutations. So one particular protein called the S protein on this spike on Omicron has mutated more than 30 times, finally giving rise to this particular organism or the mutant called Omicron. Hence, we can be rest assured it will not be as severe and as bad as Delta. That's one possibility. It cannot cause the amount of lethal complication which Delta caused. This might not cause, keeping in mind the mutations that it has. Number 2, keeping in mind this particular virus can escape the immune system and can escape the vaccination coverage. This is the 2 important things. And the third thing is the PCR report. So going forward, I'll explain to you whether it can be found during the PCR report or not. This is again another question. So what is the transmissibility of this particular variant? First of all, why is it a variant of concern? The basic reason is the transmissibility, the power of being transmitted to other people is very high. Okay, it can just be passed on just like that in a closed atmosphere. But again, keeping in mind the precautions, if the precautions are followed, the transmissibility can be reduced. The extent of providing symptoms or extent of damage is not high, but transmissibility is very high, causing clusters. As everyone knows, so far during the COVID pandemic, it has happened so that clusters are formed here and there, every place has small clusters, which in turn become a big boom, giving rise to a pandemic. This is what is happening, and the concern of this particular variant is its power of getting transmitted. Hence, it could precipitate a third wave if precautions are not taken properly. Again, what is the mode of transmission? It is the same as other virus, droplet transmission, as in during coughing, sneezing, and aerosol formation in closed spaces. What do you mean by droplet transmission? I'm sure the doctors over here are much aware, but for the other people, these are the small particles that we went out during coughing or sneezing or any kind of interaction which is very close to a second person who is near us. If it is less than 2 feet, if it is very close, then there are small droplets which can be transmitted from the person who is doing the activity to the person who is there without protection. So what are the signs and symptoms? Well, very, very fortunately, the symptoms are milder. The symptoms so far documented in South Africa as well as wherever it is found to be milder as compared to Delta variant. The lethality is not very high, of course, but the most common symptom, as in contradiction to the Delta and the previous variant, is there are more GI symptoms than respiratory symptoms, though it's a combination of both. But the Omicron has noticed more of nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, then cold, cough, fever, fatigue, body pain, as in the previous variants. The patient may or may not have loss of smell or taste. like it was in the previous variant. People, when started having COVID outbreaks and started having COVID infection, the feature what they used to come out and tell me is, ma'am, I have upper respiratory infection, I have cold, cough, but there's no loss of smell or taste. So I'm sure I don't have COVID. Well, it is not like that. Last time also it was the same thing, that loss of smell or taste only indicates that it could be a good prognosis and the recovery will be much faster. But during this time, during this particular Omicron variant, there is no loss of smell or taste noted. And it's very important to get tested early as the transmissibility is high. So what I'm telling all the patients who are consulting me now during the particular outbreak, and if they have any upper respiratory illness, is if you have 48 hours of illness with fever, cold, cough, and similar symptoms, not responding to antibiotics or not responding to any kind of management, in 48 hours, please get tested for RT-PCR. Earlier, so I used to have patients very willingly telling me, doctor, I'm not feeling okay. It's already been 2 days. I will test myself for RT-PCR and I'll get back to you with the reports. But since the time Omicron is introduced, since the time we have this particular news circulating, convincing people to get an RT-PCR test takes away 20 or 25 minutes of the consultation time. People do not nowadays relent to easy RT-PCR testing. Of course, the panic is much more higher than the virus itself. So I have told people on the day of this panic started, people started talking in the news all about it. And when things started going everywhere, I had put up a status in my WhatsApp stating that do not panic, things are under control. It is not as bad as Delta virus. Because it's difficult to convince anyone who has an upper respiratory infection for now. People are definitely in a panic mode. Right. So we're talking about the investigation. As I told you, RT-PCR is the test of choice. Nasal swab and oral swab are the ones which will detect the presence of the Omicron virus, as in any COVID-19 virus. But the question whether this particular variant can be found in an RT-PCR test is still under discussion. Because as I told you, this protein S gene or S protein in the Omicron is heavily mutated more than 30 times, and it is also having a gene dropout. S gene dropout. So if this has happened, then to detect it in the RT-PCR is very difficult. We may or may not find it, but nevertheless, getting it done, and if there is even a small possibility, genomic sequencing will be required. Further genomic sequencing can give rise to they can definitely tell us the particular variant which is patient is infected with, and what is the necessary next steps to be done. So RT-PCR following with genomic sequencing is very important in this particular virus testing. Because if undetected, it is highly transmissible, it can form clusters, and finally it can precipitate. So the most common asked question these days, everyone has been asking, pinging, calling for this particular question, vaccination. How effective is vaccination with Omicron? First and foremost, it has just come out. People are questioning, even the companies who have made the vaccine, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, everyone is still under investigation. They are still discussing that if it is Omicron is covered in the vaccination or not. Let me remind you all, the doctors in this group, that HIV also had similar problem when it actually started off. It was mutating. It was mutating so fast that till now we could not find a vaccine to cover it. The mutation, any virus who undergoes mutation, it is very difficult to blanket it with a vaccination. But yes, in COVID-19, we found vaccinations. We found did whatever was necessary, and there were 2 doses which were given out by different companies, which were more or less proven to be beneficial, at least preventing ventilation or ventilator requirement. But now, is vaccination going to help during the Omicron outbreak? The question is still critical and it is still under investigation. The companies are still trying to find out if this can cover the same blanket. There are some people who are telling that we could have a booster, and booster can definitely help us in this particular variant. I, at a personal level, would say, please wait until we get a proper solution to the vaccination with the research team. Let them come out with something which is much more authentic than taking a 3rd booster. Of course, that's a personal level or a personal discussion, but the 3rd booster is being recommended of late. So the efficacy of vaccination against the current variant, that is Omicron, is definitely questionable. As I told you, it is still under investigation. Prevention. The 3 golden rules, please, has to be followed up to the hilt. Wear a mask, Stepping out of your house without a mask is lethal. Now, wear a mask. It can be anything. It can be a surgical mask, a cloth mask, any mask, but don't come out without a mask. Second thing, social distancing. Very, very important. Do not step into crowds without any authentic reason. Please maintain social distancing quite adequately. And if you happen to step in a public place, wash hands frequently or sanitize them. Washing hand is not how we wash after having food or nothing. It has to be having a protocol. Please look into the internet. You have an entire set of things to be done when you're doing a significant hand washing. Follow it properly and save yourself. Because at this particular moment, vaccination, treatment, all this is a secondary thing. Prevention is a primary thing. So please be very, very, very cautious when you're stepping out in the public and avoid crowded areas. This four vital things so far is the more said, the better. What are the myths? First and foremost, is this worse than the Delta variant? Are we going to have a much bad third wave? No. In fact, it is going to be milder. It's going to be milder. It is not because the vaccination has covered entire people and we are safe. No. The fact is the mutation is so much that the virus is not so strong now. At least doesn't appear to be during the initial stages. The variant and the stage, if we at all we're going to have a third wave, it will be much milder than the second one. Will it definitely cause a third wave? Again, no. But the possibility, what I would say, it could be 60-40. The reason being the transmissibility is very high. The parallel transmission is very, very high. You may notice that you will see increase in COVID-19 patients, like a spurt. Now, it could be Omicron variant, definitely yes, because the transmissibility is high, but it is not as lethal as Delta variant. We may not see a bad wave as the second wave, inshallah. It is going to be much milder than the second wave. If vaccinated, we are safe to move around without precautions. Please, this is the third myth, which is really, really has to be drilled in, especially to common people. No, vaccination doesn't mean you are safe from the infection. Vaccination doesn't mean that you can move around freely without any precautions. You can mingle with anyone and avoid social distancing. No. Vaccination also carries its own responsibilities. You're wearing a mask, social distancing, and washing your hands. These three things are a mandate nowadays. Please do not venture out without any of these three things. Even if you're doubly vaccinated or even if you have a booster, please follow the protocols and the precautions to the full stop. It has to be done completely. Prognosis, please do not panic. It is not so bad. It is not lethal. At least so far, it doesn't look like it. South African government or the doctors over there have released multiple videos stating that things are not that bad as Delta variant. Delta variant took away more lives. Omicron doesn't look to be that bad. The transmissibility is high, but not the lethality. So do not panic. Please stay calm. And panicking also causes a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, again causing low immunity. At this stage, I would say work on your immunity. It's more important than anything. Work on your immunity, sleep well, take 6 to 8 hours of sleep, take a gap between your work pressure and your personal life, take a time off for yourself, relax, have diet rich in vitamin C and zinc, take a lot of dry fruits, a lot of nuts, and if possible, supplements of vitamin C and zinc will go a long way in building up immunity. Please use them lucratively. Do not hesitate. There is no side effect or nothing is going to harm you. Please use vitamin C and zinc as much as possible to build up your immunity. That's it. Do not panic. It is not so bad. Question and answers. Thank you.
You can please put off your screen share, doctor. Stop the screen share.
There.
Yeah. Now we shall move on to the question answer session. Please raise your hand, whoever wants to ask any question or any doubt. Anybody? Anybody has any question? Any question, please? Yeah, I think Atiq Saab wants to ask something. Atiq Saab, please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Atiq Saab.
Yeah, I already unmuted myself.
Yeah, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Uh, Question is that one who is suffering from chronic disease like diabetic and all, has taken already 2 vaccine. How much they got effect on this virus and how much they are safe?
First of all, keep your diabetes under control. Okay, if it is that you are having very high sugars and vaccinated, it is not that you are safe. The important to get your sugars under control. Please follow up regularly with the doctor whom we are following up with. An HbA1c of around 7 is mandatory during this particular pandemic. Okay, if your sugars are under control, you're relatively safe compared to other people. Along with vaccination, if your sugars are under control. But if vaccinated and sugar is uncontrolled, then no, it's as good as being, just like that. So yes, sugar has to be under control. The target HbA1c with medicine would be around 7.
Okay, thank you.
I think Saida Noor Aisha has asked, what is the line of management or treatment?
Yeah. Again, depends on the severity of the infection. If it is a mild infection, then we just give supplements, wait, and ask the patient to follow up and let us know the vital signs, the fever, the saturations, and the symptoms. We keep following up at an intermittent basis. If it goes a little more higher, we even add antibiotics to prevent secondary infection. And of course, if the saturation drops, the third thing, as any other COVID infection, would be giving steroids and blood thinners and monitoring them in the hospital. And hydration, of course, very important. Again, depends on the severity of the infection. The treatment is depending on that. Follow-up is very important in this particular infection, COVID-19, be it Delta variant, Omicron, or the original COVID-19.
Any other question?
Sir, just 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask Faizan. Faizan, you want to ask something?
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Assalamu alaikum. Sir, to avoid Omicron virus, it is compulsory to take dose 1 and dose 2 for avoiding Omicron virus.
Yeah, that's what I said, that whether vaccination of dose 1 and dose 2, with taking that you are safe from Omicron, that question is still question, because even the companies are not able to give the answer to this, that they have covered this as a part of the entire vaccination protocol. So yes, it will keep you relatively safer to the other variants, but Omicron is covered or not is still being discussed, sir. It has not yet been kind of finalized. We don't have a final answer for that. But yes, relatively you will be safer from the other variants at least. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Any other question? Any other question, please? Dr. Sheikh Ismail Saab. Yeah, Satyam, Atiq Saab has raised once again. Atiq Saab, please.
The question is that one, third dose, how does it affect, or you should take it or not take it? Mainly the chronic disease who's having the third dose.
Taking
What,
it or not
what is the time limit? Time from second dose to third dose? What is should be time?
The time limit is at least 2 months plus. But now, since already the government is proposing a plan of third dose, again, it is more a political issue than a health-related problem. So taking it or not would be more a political issue than a health or medical question. If the government says that, depending on the WHO criteria, that booster is required, then we have to go with it.
Does it affect you, or it is only?
I'm not too sure about it yet.
Nah, okay. Because of chronic disease, was suffering
I
from
understand the anxiety, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
I would say wait until we basically have a sure answer for this question. Time to take it.
Okay. Okay, because someone wants to travel, my friend wants to travel to India right back now. So he was asking question, shall I
No,
take
2
that dose
doses would be more
in
than
Saudi
enough.
Arabia or in India?
No, anyway, 2 doses have been given, so 2 doses are safe enough for the other variants. I'm sure he can travel with the 2 doses.
Okay, thank you, my doctor.
Any other question, please?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Is it necessary to wear the 2 masks, one above the
Double
other,
mask,
or
not yet. No. A single mask is more than sufficient.
that situation is not yet?
Wear it.
Okay. Because some people are using,
No, that was during the Delta and the second wave. That time double mask was necessary because it was more or less getting airborne. So now that's not the situation. Please wear a mask. A single mask is more than enough.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
I think Saida Noor Aisha has another question. Can you please ask?
Yeah, the vitals have to be monitored at least for 10 days. At least for 10 days, again, depending after the 10th day, if the patient still has fever, then for 14 days until the symptoms are not there. But basically for 10 days initially. Every 2 days, once we monitor them, ask them the saturation and the fever and the other vital signs and symptoms, of course.
Any other question? Not only question, if somebody wants to add on any information, also most welcome.
And that's up again.
Yeah, boliye, Atiq Saab.
My friend, I'm in the office now, right now.
Okay.
My friend is sitting next to me. He's my colleague. His father is suffering from the heart, some open heart surgery.
Okay.
So, and his sugar, I think he's sugar also, diabetic. So, what precaution is to take it? He's asking the question like me.
Yeah, the first thing is make sure his sugar is fine, under control. And second thing is when he steps out in the mask only. Third thing, vitamin C. Start taking vitamin C supplement right now and zinc supplement.
Okay.
Vitamin C and zinc. Wear a mask while going out and make sure the sugar is under control.
Okay. Moreover, my son is now 12 years, 15 years. Should he take the vaccine?
Yes, 12 and above is mandatory. So yes.
First dose or 2 doses?
First dose. Yeah.
First dose enough? It is enough?
Yeah. Usually 2 doses are important, but yeah, at least 1 dose for the beginning.
Because he's studying in 12th, 10th now, because I'm afraid about this one, going to college and school, all these things.
Yeah, it actually takes some time. They have fever and all. It takes some time to recover post-vaccination. But better to take it during a situation like this.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much.
Okay.
There's one more question on chat. What is the pathological difference between Omicron and other variants?
Pathologically, as I told you, the difference is a mutation. The mutation in Omicron is much more severe than the other variants. That means to say the virus is much more weaker compared to the other variants. Around 30 times it has mutated. The outside circle, the S protein on the Omicron spike, the protein on the spike of the Omicron has undergone 30 mutations at least. So this means to say it has rendered it much more weaker compared to Delta variant and the COVID-19. So we are not, so far it looks like it might not blow up out of proportion, inshallah. Looks like that. Let's see.
Okay, anybody, any other question? Or anybody wants to share any information? Walaikum assalam. डॉक्टर सैयद नासिर साहब कुछ पूछना चाह रहे हैं शायद. डॉक्टर साहब आप हैं?
No, I think just Salam Alaikum. Walaikum Salam.
Yeah, it is not Dr. Syed, Mr. Syed Saab. Any other question, or shall we end the session?
Yeah, I think anyone remembers any question, you can always email it to Suhail sir.
Yeah, they can ask in the group as well, whatever
Yeah, we
question.
have a group also, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone
Yeah.
outside Penpa can email, and inside
Yeah.
Penpa can ask in the group.
See, there's one more question. What is the recovery rate after getting infected?
With Omicron, so far the recovery rate is good. As I told you, that lethality is much lesser, but yeah, recovery is better than Delta, definitely. But takes longer time sometimes, depending on the comorbidities and all that. That's what the South African doctors are telling. But yeah, recovery rate is much better.
Okay. I think Atik Saab would like to know some more thing.
Yes, sir.
Atik Saab?
Hindi and Urdu. ठीक है, okay, inshallah.
Before 2 months, my dad took Covaxin.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So he suffered almost to 1 month due to fever.
I understand. Yes.
So does he take a second vaccine or stop?
And he's suffering from the cardiac. He has done all.
He's also
Cardiac
suffering-
illness. Yes.
He's
A
done
very
all-
difficult question coming to having the cardiac pathology, because yes, some element in the vaccine definitely has an issue with the heart. It is not yet proven scientifically or significantly, but there is a problem. So yes, I would say that if he is staying indoors, then do not expose him to a second. But if not, if he wants to go out, then no other way than taking a vaccine and stepping out.
And what about the relatives and the friends are coming inside the house? How to
Yeah,
prevent
so it is up to us to keep them safe. Try to avoid visitors and keep distance, or speak to them in an open room, than with open ventilation outside than the closed room. It's
What
much
are the-
safer.
diet? What is the diet on these conditions?
Diet would be rich in vitamin C and zinc. Let him have more of dry fruits if he's not diabetic. And of course, the diet which is rich in vitamin C, like oranges, Mozambique, and he can even take vitamin C supplement. Based on his cardiac thing, he can take vitamin C supplements. That will be good for him.
Thank you.
After taking Covaxin, he's continuing suffering from fever. After 2 or 3 weeks, fever coming and.
Okay, so I would recommend you to send me all his reports so that we have a discussion and consultation, maybe one-to-one basis.
Inshallah.
But than to talk like this, better that I know more about him than tell him that.
Inshallah.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Atik Saab, I shall send you the contact details of Dr. Halima. You can get in touch with her.
Sure.
And there's one more question by Danish Khan Sahab. Do you think it's a bad idea for schools to reopen from January? Should we, as parents, not send small children to school? I am talking about children less than 11 years.
Yes, unfortunately, they have already opened up. Not January, no one is waiting. Already the schools have opened up and they're requesting parents to send the children to school. It's a very, very bad idea. I've been telling it from the first day that it's too early to expose our children. No vaccine for them. And we can't expect children to maintain social distancing and wear a mask for the entire time at school. Even the adults don't wear it. So how can we expect small children to wear it? Especially preschool and even school, early school, like first, second, third. These children even exchange masks and they'll wear some of the child mask and come home. So all these things are also happening. So I think it's a very, very bad idea and to open the school prematurely. We spoke earlier, we tried to tell the people, tell the school authorities, but I think once it comes from the government, very difficult to, it's a very premature decision, I would say. We could have waited for some more time. Yeah. Yes, if I were you, Danish Khan Sahab, I would not send. I'm not sending my daughter anywhere to school. She's doing online class itself.
Any other question? Any other question? I think we can conclude the meeting as there is no more question. And if there are any questions, you can please get in touch with us on the group. And inshallah, we'll provide you the contact details of Dr. Halima Yazdani Sahiba. And now I request Atiq Sahab to make a small dua before we conclude the meeting, before we end the meeting. Atiq Sahab, please make dua for all of us. Please unmute.
What's up? I'm in the office right now.
Faizan, please mute yourself. Faizan, mute करें आप. Okay. Atiq Sahab, please go ahead with the dua.
डॉक्टर साहब किसी और को बोलिए, हम ऑफिस में ड्यूटी पे हूँ फिलहाल.
एक छोटी दुआ, बस छोटी कफारा मजलिस पढ़ दीजिए.
اللهم انت السلام انت السلام وعليك السلام هينا بنا بالسلام وادخلنا دار السلام سمعنا واطعنا غفرانك ربنا ولك المصير. سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. اللہ تعالیٰ ہماری دعاؤں کو قبول فرما, ہماری بیٹھنے کو سننے کو قبول فرما. خاص کر جو وبا جو بیماری آ رہی ہے سب کی حفاظت فرما, ہم سب کی حفاظت فرما. بچوں کو, بڑوں کی, بزرگوں کی, بچوں کی, سب کی حفاظت فرما یا اللہ تعالیٰ. پورے عالم کی حفاظت فرما. ہم سب کو یا اللہ حفاظت میں رکھ یا اللہ, حفاظت میں رکھ رب العالمین. یہ بلائن سے بچا رب العالمین. جو کچھ مانگا بتا فرما, جو مانگنے سے ہے بتا فرما. آمین آمین. السلام علیکم الحمدللہ رب العالمین.
Thank you very much. Thanks one and all. And with everybody's permission, we shall